Hi, Alicia Zielinski-Straub here, licensed professional counselor and Somatics Facilitator. I am very entrenched in insight-oriented therapy, going deep, cultivating greater self-awareness within oneself, mindful movement and meditation, trauma-informed breath work and meditation, really being able to drop into the core of who we are and live that out purposefully. Yeah, so that's what I do. And what I'm here for today is to discuss this idea I came across, neuroplasticity in action. So the summer solstice, was upon us on June 20th, 21st, and I was reading about the solstice, and it's really a special day. It represents this symbolic transitioning into a brand new season of growth, expansion, abundance. You think about the summer, like the fruits, the grass, the flowers, the trees, everything just growing green, abundantly present, right? And so in our lives, we have the opportunity to experience the same. And so it's a wonderful time, in this new summer season to start to think about like life and where am I and where am I going? How do I want to be? Who do I want to be? Not because there's something wrong with going with whatever it may be, within us or around us presently. Maybe there is, but really, like, why not? Like, if the trees and the plants and the flowers and the grass are growing, why can't we grow? We are meant to evolve. So this neuroplasticity in action really is about the idea of how we reinforce our neural circuitry, our wiring, so to speak. When we look at it from a neuroscience perspective, we are continually reinforcing something, whatever we're thinking, however we're speaking, how we might be feeling, how we're interacting, the choices we're making each and every day, we are reinforcing our neural circuitry, which leads us to like run this programming, operate from a conditioning that's either gonna serve and or align with or not serve and or align with, what it is we're setting out to accomplish, how we want to feel, how we want to live. And so it maps real closely with this idea of healing. I know it could be a strong word, but in our lives, we go through very painful experiences, be it a physically painful experience or an emotionally painful experience, relationally, financially, mentally, spiritually, societally, culturally. There are painful experiences. And when we do not take the time to be with this pain that is unprocessed causes difficulty. It causes a lot of difficulty and it blocks us from growth. So this idea of growing more self-aware, of using the breath, using the senses, using other tools or practices to carve carve out time to be in stillness for introspection or reflection to really begin to see what we need to see, what it is that is blocking our ability to flourish, like the flowers and the grass and the trees and the plants and the crops in the summertime. And so this pain that we experience that is not processed is like stored in the body. And when we take the time to just be with, to really feel it, to see it, to not judge it, to just notice, to allow it to be there, it just dismantles and it processes, it processes and it heals and it creates some space for us to go about our lives in a new way, in a new season, in a new chapter, through a new transition. And the trick here is not trying to reclaim what was lost, but establishing what it is we want to move into, like how we want to be, how we want to feel, how we want to interact, the footprint, the footprint we would like to establish in this world. And so day by day, we have thoughts, we have feelings, we have interactions, we have a story, right? And, without being able to notice if the story supports the direction we want to go in or not, we are rewiring um, existing neural circuitry. And that's the idea of this neuroplasticity in action. It's happening constantly. And so for me, I have this vision for myself, and as many of us going through transition or just change, generally collectively on personal levels, like I'm really watching myself conscientiously trying to break through moving moving through old stories, like choosing this faith over fear type of thing, like recognizing when I'm dropping into this like negative dialogue or looking back at experiences in the past and anticipating the same outcome, which may not be as favorable as I would like, and really stopping myself and taking that deep breath, right? Taking that deep breath and coming into grounded presence and being able to tap back into this vision of who I want to grow into and what I want to cultivate. And imagining what it's going to feel like and seeing myself and acting as if I'm there, making choices that support what it is I'm working towards and why it is I'm working towards that. And so it's critical. It's critical for us to really notice, throughout our days, are we really giving ourselves the opportunity to emerge into the fullness of our lives? Thriving is like stepping into the to this field of possibility and really believing that I am worthy and I am deserving enough to cultivate this, to allow this to come to pass. I am supported enough. I'm building resources. I'm enhancing my skills. I'm giving myself the chance that I deserve. And day after day, thought after thought, feeling after feeling, gently prompting ourselves in this new direction, allowing for this expansion, this growth, this abundance that's available to us if we notice what stands in the way and we begin to use this neuroplasticity for our good, like using affirming statements, really believing in oneself that I have the opportunity to use my voice, to share my creative ideas, to step outside of my comfort zone and take a risk. Take a calculated risk, barring again, once again, no life-threatening situation type of stuff, but like really giving one sense a chance and believing that just like a garden that we're planting outside, tilling the soil, fertilizing it, picking those weeds, planting those seeds, watering, extracting any weeds that can strangle the growth of the plants, that we plant seeds within us, our intentions, and each one of those seeds, within each one of those seeds that we plant in this new season, right, has the fullness within the seed for this potential growth, right? That's just what a seed is. And it just amazes me when I look within myself in times when, like, anxiety, worry, like doubt about the future and, these big dreams, visions I'm working on and things like that. Like, how easy it is to just forget that, within these seeds lies the DNA, for all, but like the person in the garden, like day after day, they're watering, they're weeding, they're making sure no animals are getting in there and plucking things, pulling things, making sure there's sunlight, keeping an eye on the weather, things like that. And so, like, that is our neuroplasticity in action, how we tend to ourselves, how we care for ourselves, how we choose our own faith over fear. It feels wonky. We plant these seeds and a seed doesn't grow overnight. I mean, even with a bamboo shoot, I was reading something not too long ago that, it takes years for the roots of a bamboo to intricately weave themselves underneath what's visible, in order for the shoot to pop through. So our seeds that we plant in this new season takes time, takes time to come to its actual fruition. But each day, how we tend to this, our neuroplasticity in action is going to get us going in one direction, or it's going to get us stuck in what's familiar. There can be a lot of chaos, the feelings of restlessness inside, sometimes even to the point where it's just so super overwhelming that we shut down or we numb out or we distract ourselves from things. You know, that's neuroplasticity in action too. It's not really helping to cultivate this abundant expansion and growth that we're capable of, like really stepping into this realm of possibility, of newness. Things in our lives change. Certain roles that we play shift, especially now it's graduation time, working with clients, individuals who have been in, let's say, the role of mom, and teenagers graduating, going to college, young adult has graduated from college, and they're really, really leaving the home, and these big questions like, who am I and what am I here for, causing like states of panic, or people retiring, like, okay, what's next? What do I do? People caring for family members or loved ones who really are not in a good place, and what happens next. And we can have this fear and this worry and this doubt and this uncertainty, or we can see ourselves and the direction we want to move in, the things we want to try, how we stick our toe in the water in these different places, and just feel out like, okay, what am I capable of? What can I grow next? What can I experience next in this new chapter? And this neuroplasticity in action is a very, very important component, because if we're thinking the same thoughts and they are filled with self-doubt and negativity, we're not growing anything, right? So we want to see this. We want to see this. We want to breathe into it. We want to tend to it. We want to give it a little compassion, lean in with some curiosity and really ask oneself, like, you know, is this how I want to feel in this moment? Or do I want to take the risk to believe in possibility, to choose the faith over fear, to use positive affirming statements, to see ourselves moving about in this elevated emotional state, to make decisions on a day-to-day basis that support the direction we want to head in, to thank the experiences that have sort of shaped us for helping us through to this point, but through the self-awareness and this neuroplasticity and action concept, to really truly believe that, we can move beyond. And so back to this idea of like healing, growing, expanding, evolving, right? It's not reclaiming what was lost. It's building into something brand new in this new season of growth, abundance, and expansion. So, neuroplasticity in action is key here. Being mindful of the tendency to drop back into what's familiar, what could cause a lot of chaos and restlessness and overwhelm inside. Actively choosing to use a new belief, use an affirmation, understanding it's a seed. It's a seed wiring a new neural pathway, moving us in a direction that we are more than capable of moving through, finding support for, and really living into. So that is my share for today. If anyone is interested throughout the summer, just sort of joining in community, I will be teaching a mindful movement and meditation, gentle vinyasa yoga class on Monday mornings at 8 a.m. at Even Flow. There is an upcoming retreat to Glacier National Park in Whitefish, Montana in the month of August. I believe it's August 20th, that there may still be space for. If not, there's a waiting list because sometimes things happen and people can't make it, but it's going to be a wonderful opportunity that I'll be supporting two beautiful ladies, elemental medicine magic each day, aligning with the different elements, doing some healing work in nature, just really, reclaiming oneself and becoming clear on the vision. And as always, I am available if you're in the state of New Jersey. Of course, I'm licensed in the state of New Jersey. If you need a little support in dropping into more of the counseling oriented type of stuff, or if you are interested in like learning or participating in more of an individualized breathwork meditation, mindful movement yoga type of thing, that's available to all trauma informed. So you can reach me via my website, aliciazstraub.com. You can email me from there. My contact information is located there as well. But I just really wish you this opportunity in this season of growth, expansion, and abundance. And just know that day after day, this neuroplasticity is in action and it's going to get us moving in one direction or another. So, using the tools, growing more self aware, consciously and actively making empowered choices that align with this vision of the next version of ourselves. Anyway, I'll catch up with you soon. Have a wonderful day.